48 grams of sugar in a single bottle. Artificial sweeteners classified as possibly carcinogenic. Added mineral salts that can disrupt kidney function in anyone on heart medication. All of it stamped with one of the most trusted logos on earth. But crack open the wrong Coca-Cola product, and what you're really drinking is high-fructose corn syrup, banned artificial dyes, and chemical additives dressed up as hydration, health, and refreshment. If this has been your go-to brand for 10, 20, 30 years, everything we found has been in your body that entire time. Today, we're breaking down 11 Coca-Cola products that failed to earn your trust, including several most people consider wholesome, plus the 2 products under that same red logo that actually tested clean. By the end, you'll know exactly what to keep and what to throw out tonight. Coming in at number 11, Fanta Orange. That bright orange can, the playful branding, the soda that feels lighter and more fun than a regular cola. Fanta markets itself as the carefree choice, the fruity alternative for people who want something different from the dark stuff. Pop that tab and look at the color. That electric, almost neon orange isn't fruit. It's red 40 and yellow 6, 2 synthetic petroleum-based dyes that have been restricted or banned in multiple European countries. The European Union requires warning labels on products containing these dyes, stating they may have adverse effects on activity and attention in children. America requires nothing. Same company, same product, different rules depending on which country you live in. A single can of Fanta delivers 44 grams of sugar. That's 11 teaspoons dissolved into 12 ounces of liquid. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day for women and 36 for men. 1 can of Fanta blows past both limits before lunch. That sugar hits your bloodstream fast. No fiber, no protein, nothing to slow the absorption. Your blood glucose spikes, your pancreas scrambles to produce insulin, and 2 hours later you crash. Do that daily, and you're training your body for insulin resistance. For anyone managing pre-diabetes or taking metformin, or families handing this to teenagers after soccer practice, that single can is actively working against your health. Coca-Cola generated over $45 billion in revenue last year. They could reformulate Fanta without artificial dyes tomorrow. They already did it in Europe because regulators forced them to. In America, no one forced them, so they didn't bother. Same brand, different recipe. Your country got the cheaper version. 11 teaspoons of sugar. Banned dyes. A label that says fun. A body that says otherwise. If the fruity option is that bad, surely the clean, clear alternative is better. It isn't. At number 10, Sprite. The crisp lemon-lime soda, caffeine-free, no dark coloring. The soda that looks like it has nothing to hide. Sprite positions itself as the transparent choice, but transparency doesn't apply to what's inside the bottle. A single 20-ounce Sprite contains 64 grams of sugar. 64 grams. That's 16 teaspoons of sugar in one sitting, nearly triple the daily recommended limit for most adults. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table and spooning 16 teaspoons of white sugar into a glass of water. You'd never drink it, but wrap it in a green label and carbonate it, and suddenly, it's refreshing. That sugar load doesn't just spike your glucose. It elevates triglycerides, the fats in your blood directly linked to cardiovascular disease. Research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that consuming sugar-sweetened beverages daily was associated with increased risk of coronary heart disease. Sprite isn't just sweet, it's a cardiovascular event dressed in a green bottle. For anyone on blood pressure medication or managing cholesterol, or families pouring this at barbecues and birthday parties, that one bottle delivers more sugar than most people should consume in 2 full days. And because Sprite contains no caffeine, no dark color, nothing that looks dangerous, people drink more of it. They give it to kids when they're sick because it feels gentle. Coca-Cola knows this. They market it that way. Gentle, clean, crisp, 16 teaspoons of sugar. That's what clean looks like. Think that's excessive? The original is even more deceptive. Number 9. Coca-Cola Classic, the most iconic beverage on the planet. More recognized than any flag, any anthem, any symbol of any nation. Trusted by generations. A 12-ounce can delivers 39 grams of added sugar and a dose of phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid gives Coke its tangy bite, that sharp flavor underneath the sweetness. It also strips minerals from your bones. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that women who consumed cola daily had significantly lower bone mineral density in their hips compared to those who didn't. The mechanism is straightforward. Phosphoric acid binds to calcium in your digestive system and pulls it out of your body before your bones can use it. For women over 50 already facing osteoporosis risk, or anyone with a family history of fractures, every can accelerates the loss. But the skeletal damage isn't the only problem. The sugar and acid combination promotes arterial stiffness. Research from the University of Sydney demonstrated that regular soft drink consumption increased markers of cardiovascular aging. Your arteries get harder. Your blood pressure rises. Your heart works harder to push blood through pipes that are losing their flexibility. Coca-Cola spends over $4 billion annually on advertising. They sponsor the Olympics, the World Cup, every major event where health and performance are celebrated. The irony isn't subtle. The world's most famous drink weakening the bones and hardening the arteries of the people who trust it most. 39 grams of sugar, phosphoric acid pulling calcium from your skeleton. 4 billion in ads telling you to enjoy. If soda is poison, at least juice is real food. That's exactly what they want you to believe. Number 8. Minute Maid Orange Juice. The wholesome breakfast staple. The glass of sunshine your parents poured every morning. Minute Maid feels like nutrition. It's Coca-Cola's most successful health illusion. Many Minute Maid varieties use concentrated juice reconstituted with water and supplemented with added sugars. A 12-ounce serving can contain 36 grams of sugar, nearly identical to a can of Coke. The only difference is the label. One says soda, one says juice. Your pancreas can't read the label. It processes both the same way. Fructose from concentrated juice stresses the liver exactly like high-fructose corn syrup. The liver converts excess fructose into fat, raising triglyceride levels and promoting non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. A study in the Journal of Hepatology found that excessive fructose consumption was one of the primary dietary drivers of fatty liver in adults over 40. For anyone on blood sugar medications or managing kidney function, or people who switched from soda to juice thinking they made the healthy choice, the fructose load is virtually identical. The renal system filters fructose metabolites. Overload it, and you accelerate kidney decline. But the biggest betrayal is the vitamin C marketing. Minute Maid sells the idea that you need their juice for vitamin C. You don't. A single orange contains all the vitamin C you need, plus fiber that slows sugar absorption. Minute Maid strips the fiber, concentrates the sugar, and charges you for the privilege. Your morning ritual, their morning profit. Same sugar as soda with a sunrise on the label. You thought juice was the healthy alternative. Wait until you see what the sports drink is hiding. Number 7. Powerade. The serious hydration brand for athletes. The drink that promises to replenish what your body loses during intense exercise. Most people buying Powerade aren't running marathons. They're sitting at desks, driving cars, watching television, and they're consuming a product designed for elite athletes that their sedentary bodies don't need and can't handle. Most Powerade varieties contain high fructose corn syrup as a primary sweetener. They add artificial colors like Blue One, a synthetic dye that European regulators have scrutinized for potential links to hypersensitivity reactions. And sodium, lots of it. An athlete sweating through a 2-hour training session needs sodium replacement. A person watching football on a Sunday does not. For anyone managing hypertension or taking blood thinners, or people grabbing this after a light walk thinking they need electrolytes, that excess sodium elevates blood pressure. It interferes with fluid balance. It works against the very medications designed to keep you alive. Powerade isn't hydration. It's a medical contradiction sold in a squeeze bottle, and the marketing is relentless. Powerade sponsors professional leagues, college athletics, youth sports programs. They embed themselves in the culture of fitness so deeply that grabbing a Powerade feels like part of being active. Even when the most active thing you did today was walk to the fridge. The cheapest hydration on earth is water. Powerade costs $3 and adds problems your body didn't have before you drank it. Electrolyte theater. That's all it is. If a sports drink can fool you, imagine what a product called vitamin water can do. Number 6. Vitamin water. Read that name again. Vitamin. Water. 2 words that promise health in every syllable. The packaging is clean. The colors suggest wellness. The label lists vitamins like a supplement bottle. It is the single most deceptive product name in Coca-Cola's entire portfolio. Here's how deceptive. Coca-Cola was sued in a class action lawsuit over vitamin water's health claims. In their legal defense, Coca-Cola's own attorneys argued that no reasonable consumer could be misled into thinking vitamin water was a healthy beverage. The company that named it vitamin water told a federal court that only an unreasonable person would believe it was healthy. That argument is in the court record. Most bottles contain around 32 grams of sugar. That's 8 teaspoons of sugar in something called water. The vitamins listed on the label are synthetic additives you'd get from a single multivitamin costing pennies. The sugar is what you're actually consuming. For anyone managing diabetes or dealing with chronic joint inflammation, or people who replace soda with this thinking they upgraded, that hidden sugar load undermines every health goal. It feeds systemic inflammation. It destabilizes glucose management. It promotes the exact metabolic dysfunction that the name vitamin water implies it prevents. You paid $4 for sugar water with vitamins sprinkled on the label. They named it health. Their lawyers called you unreasonable for believing them. That tells you everything. Drop a comment if you've got a vitamin water or Powerade in your fridge right now. Let's see how many of us have been drinking this stuff thinking it was good for us. If you're keeping score, that's 6 products deep, and the lies are getting bolder. But the next one takes deception to a level most people never suspect. Number 5. Simply Orange Juice, the premium juice. The clean label, nothing artificial, ever. That's the tagline. Simply Orange positions itself as the antidote to everything wrong with Maid. More expensive, better branding, pure and natural. Investigative reporting revealed something the label never mentions. Simply Orange uses a heavily engineered process involving flavor packs. The juice is squeezed, then stripped of oxygen and stored in massive tanks for up to a year. Removing oxygen prevents spoilage, but also destroys the natural flavor. So they add it back. Flavor packs, proprietary chemical formulations designed to make year-old juice taste freshly squeezed. These packs are technically derived from orange essence, so they don't legally count as artificial ingredients. The label stays clean. The process is anything but. For people who chose simply because the ingredient list looked honest, or families paying premium prices because natural felt safer, every glass still delivers a concentrated sugar hit. The glycemic response is nearly identical to soda. Your blood glucose doesn't know the difference between Simply Orange and Sprite. It spikes the same way. Simply charges nearly double what Minute Maid costs. You're paying extra for the word simply, for engineered flavor designed to mimic freshness, for a process that stores juice in industrial tanks for months and sells it as pure. Nothing artificial, just artfully disguised. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It's free, and it means you'll never miss these exposés. The next brand on this list is one most people would never think to question. It's literally just water. And what Coca-Cola did to it should make you furious. Premium juice lied to you. Now let's talk about something even more basic. Water. Number 4. Dasani. Pure, crisp, refreshing. That's the promise on every bottle. Dasani is one of the best-selling bottled waters in America. Millions buy it believing they're choosing something cleaner than tap water. They're wrong. Dasani is purified municipal tap water. The same water that comes out of your kitchen faucet, filtered through reverse osmosis, then remineralized with added ingredients. Those added ingredients are the problem. Dasani adds magnesium sulfate, potassium chloride, and salt back into the water. Magnesium sulfate is commonly known as Epsom salt. It's used as a laxative. Potassium chloride in pharmaceutical contexts is administered under medical supervision because excess potassium can cause dangerous cardiac arrhythmias. For anyone with compromised kidney function or people on potassium-restricted diets due to heart medication, those added mineral salts can disrupt electrolyte balance in ways most people never suspect. Kidneys that can't efficiently filter excess potassium face a risk that no one associates with bottled water. Consumer complaints and independent testing have flagged Dasani's taste and composition for years. The United Kingdom pulled Dasani from shelves entirely after bromate contamination was discovered in 2004. Coca-Cola spent millions on the UK launch. It lasted 5 weeks. 5 weeks. But in America, Dasani stays on every shelf, in every convenience store, in every vending machine. Tap water with added chemicals, sold back to you at a 3,000% markup. That's not hydration. That's a business model. You'd think at least the zero-calorie options would be safe. You'd be wrong again. Number 3. Diet Coke, the guilt-free soda. Zero sugar, zero calories. The drink that lets you have your cola without the consequences. 40 years of marketing built that promise. Science is dismantling it. In 2023, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer classified aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans. Aspartame is Diet Coke's primary sweetener. The classification meant that the world's leading cancer research body found sufficient evidence to raise concern about a chemical consumed by hundreds of millions of people daily. That same year, the WHO also advised against using artificial sweeteners for weight control, citing evidence that long-term use does not reduce body fat and may increase the risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. The very outcomes Diet Coke drinkers are trying to avoid. Research published in the journal Stroke found that daily consumption of artificially sweetened beverages was associated with higher risk of stroke and dementia. Other studies have linked artificial sweeteners to disrupted gut microbiome, the bacterial ecosystem that regulates digestion, immunity, and even mood. Diet Coke retrains your palate to crave sweetness without delivering calories, which confuses your metabolic signaling. You drink something sweet, your body expects energy, gets nothing, and compensates by increasing appetite elsewhere. For anyone who switched to Diet Coke to manage weight or blood sugar, or people who've been drinking this daily for decades thinking it was the responsible choice, the research suggests the opposite. 0 calories, possibly carcinogenic. The guilt-free soda that might cost you more than the original ever could. What's the worst Coca-Cola product you've ever tried? Drop it in the comments below. I want to see if any of these made your list. That was the diet version. The newer zero sugar formula might be even worse. Number 2, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. The perfect Coca-Cola taste with no sugar, no compromise. That's the pitch. Zero sugar is Coca-Cola's answer to the consumers who abandoned Classic for health reasons but didn't love Diet Coke's flavor. It uses a combination of aspartame and acetylfame potassium. Both face growing scientific scrutiny. Aspartame carries the WHO's carcinogen classification. Acetylfame potassium has been linked in animal studies to disrupted gut bacteria and altered metabolic function. Together, they deliver sweetness without sugar, but potentially at a biological cost researchers are still uncovering. Then there's the caramel coloring. Zero sugar gets its dark color from caramel color, which contains 4-methylimidazole, known as 4-MEI. California's Proposition 65 previously required cancer warning labels for products exceeding certain 4-MEI levels. Coca-Cola adjusted their formula specifically to avoid that California warning, not by removing the chemical, but by reducing it just below the threshold. They didn't eliminate the risk, they managed the label. For anyone on diabetes or blood pressure medication, or people who chose zero sugar because it seemed like the smartest option in the cooler, the artificial sweeteners may interfere with gut bacteria responsible for glucose regulation. You took your medication to manage blood sugar. The soda you washed it down with may have undermined the prescription. Zero sugar on the label. A growing list of concerns in the research. They engineered the taste. They couldn't engineer away the consequences. We're down to number 1, and this one hides behind nostalgia like a wolf in grandmother's apron. Number 1, Gold Peak Sweet Tea. Homestyle, real brewed, Southern tradition in a bottle. Gold Peak Sweet Tea wraps itself in warmth and authenticity. The label evokes a front porch, a rocking chair, a simpler time when things were made with care. Open the bottle and look at the ingredients. A single 18.5-ounce bottle contains 48 grams of added sugar. That's 12 teaspoons in one serving. More sugar than a can of Coca-Cola Classic. More sugar than a full-sized Snickers bar. The ingredient list includes high-fructose corn syrup, the cheapest industrial sweetener available. The same corn-derived syrup that has been linked in study after study to obesity, fatty liver disease, and metabolic syndrome. Citric acid preservatives extend the shelf life because home-style tea apparently needs to survive months in a warehouse before it reaches your hands. For anyone managing diabetes or taking medication for heart disease, or people who chose sweet tea over soda thinking they were making a better choice, that 48-gram sugar load is enough to cause dangerous glucose spikes. For people with declining kidney function, the chronic fructose overload accelerates renal damage over time. Kidneys already working overtime don't need 12 teaspoons of sugar flooding the system every afternoon. Gold Peak sells 12 teaspoons of sugar per bottle and calls it tradition. High fructose corn syrup and calls it real brewed. Warehouse preservatives and calls it home style. This isn't your grandmother's sweet tea. Your grandmother didn't use corn syrup. She didn't need preservatives. She didn't sell nostalgia to mask a sugar bomb. Gold Peak took a tradition and turned it into a product. The memory is real. The tea isn't. 11 products, 11 broken promises. One company worth over $200 billion that could fix all of it tomorrow. But don't walk away from every Coca-Cola product. 2 options under that same logo actually deliver what they promise. Safe pick 1. Topo Chico Mineral Water. After 11 products built on sugar, chemicals, and deception, Topo Chico feels like opening a window. This is naturally sourced mineral water from Monterrey, Mexico. No added sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no synthetic dyes, no flavor packs, no potassium chloride, no magnesium sulfate laxatives. Just water, filtered through limestone over centuries, picking up trace minerals naturally along the way. The ingredient list is exactly what it should be. Carbonated mineral water. That's it. When Coca-Cola acquired Topo Chico in 2017, skeptics expected the formula to change. It didn't. The mineral content still comes from the natural source, not from a lab adding salts back into purified tap water. That difference matters. The calcium and magnesium occur in bioavailable forms your body can actually absorb and use. For adults watching Bone Density, or anyone who wants clean hydration without the risks of engineered mineral additions, Topo Chico delivers without the tricks. Pour it into a glass. Watch the fine, persistent bubbles, natural carbonation that feels different from the aggressive fizz of manufactured sodas. Taste it and notice the clean mineral finish, no chemical aftertaste, no sweetness, no confusion about what you're drinking. Topo Chico costs about the same as Dasani. The difference is that one is naturally sourced mineral water and the other is tap water with chemicals added back in. Same price. Entirely different product. If you need carbonation, if you want something with more character than flat water, Topo Chico proves that Coca-Cola can sell an honest product. They just usually choose not to. Safe pick 2. Gold Peak Unsweetened Tea. After everything we exposed about Gold Peak Sweet Tea, this might surprise you. Same brand name, completely different product. Gold Peak Unsweetened Tea is real brewed black tea with 0 sugar, 0 calories, and no artificial sweeteners. No high-fructose corn syrup, no aspartame, no acesulfame potassium. Nothing that contradicts the word tea. The ingredient list is brewed black tea and water. That's the entire label. Black tea contains polyphenols and flavonoids, plant compounds that peer-reviewed research has consistently linked to cardiovascular benefits. Studies published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that regular black tea consumption was associated with improved cholesterol ratios and reduced arterial stiffness. The antioxidants in black tea support healthy inflammatory response, the opposite of what every sugar-laden beverage on this list does to your system. For anyone on blood pressure medication who still wants a flavorful daily drink, or people who loved sweet tea but know they need to eliminate added sugars, unsweetened tea works with your prescriptions instead of against them. It doesn't spike glucose. It doesn't feed inflammation. It doesn't burden your kidneys with excess fructose or potassium additives. Open the bottle. The color is deep amber, genuine brewed tea with natural tannins you can see. Taste it and notice the subtle astringency, the slight bitterness that tells you something real is in that bottle. Compare it to sweet tea's cloying, syrupy sweetness, and you understand the difference between a beverage and a sugar delivery system. Gold Peak proved with one product that they know how to make something honest, which makes the sweet tea version even more damning. They know how to do it right. They choose sugar and corn syrup because sugar and corn syrup sell more bottles. Drop a comment if you're making a switch tonight, and share this with someone who still reaches for one of those 11 products every single day. They deserve to know what's really inside. 11 lies, 2 honest answers. Your next drink should refresh, not risk you. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.